Hi everybody, we'll do another chapter of the Adventures of Grandfather Frog. But first, I want to say hi to everybody. Hello to Jackson, Matthew, Marjorie and Emma here in Maine, and Malia and Lucas in Missouri. And hello to Kai Ming and Ru Kai in Washington State. And to Hope here in Maine. Hello, Hope. And Dylan in Maine. Hi, Dylan. And Lucas in Maine. And Leslie and Mary, our good friends over in England. Ezzy and Indy in Oklahoma. And hello to Kayla here in Maine. And hello to Sylvia, Macy, and Lillian. And Happer and Judson. And Caden and Xander, all in Maine. And Evangeline and Isaac in Rhode Island. And Mabel way off in the country of China. Hello, everybody. Now, let's see. We'll go to chapter 21. The title of the chapter is The Merry Little Breezes Try to Comfort Grandfather Frog. You remember, he was trapped in the barrel that was surrounded the spring, like a potato barrel, and the frog can't jump out that high. Let's see. When the Merry Little Breezes of Old Mother West Wind had left Grandfather Frog in the long lane where Farmer Brown's boy had dropped him, and had hurried as fast as ever they could to try to find some of his friends to help him, not one of them had been successful. No one was at home, and no one was in any of the places where they usually would be found. The Merry Little Breezes looked and looked. Then, one by one, they sadly turned back to the long lane. They felt so badly that they just hated to go back where they had left Grandfather Frog. When they got there, they found Striped Chipmunk, who was now scolding Grandfather Frog's boy as fast as his tongue could go. "Where is he?" cried the Merry Little Breezes excitedly. Striped Chipmunk stopped scolding long enough to point to Farmer Brown's boy, who was hunting in the grass for some trace of Grandfather Frog. "We don't mean him, you stupid. We can see him for ourselves. Where's Grandfather Frog?" cried the Merry Little Breezes, all speaking at once. "I don't know," replied Striped Chipmunk, "and what's more, I don't care." Now this wasn't true, for Striped Chipmunk isn't that kind. It was mostly talk, and the Merry Little Breezes knew it. They knew that Striped Chipmunk really thinks a great deal of Grandfather Frog, just as they do. So they pretended not to notice what he said or how put out he seemed. After a while, he told them that he had set Grandfather Frog free, and then he had started for the spring on the other side of the long lane. The Merry Little Breezes were delighted to hear the good news, and they said such a lot of nice things to Striped Chipmunk that he quite forgot to scold Farmer Brown's boy. Then they started for the spring, dancing merrily, for they felt sure that there Grandfather Frog was all right. They expected to find him quite at home. "Hello, Grandfather Frog," they shouted as they peeped into the spring. "How do you like your new home?" Grandfather Frog made no reply. He just rolled his great goggly eyes up at them, and they were full of tears. Why, Grandfather Frog, what is the matter now?" they cried. "Chug-a-rum," said Grandfather Frog, and his voice sounded all choky. "I can't get out." Then they noticed for the first time how straight and smooth the walls of the spring were, and how far down Grandfather Frog was, and they knew that he spoke the truth. They tried bending down the grasses that spew around the edge of the spring, but none were long enough to reach the water. Now, there's a picture here, everybody. That's Grandfather Frog. See how Farmer Brown and Farmer Brown's boy have put a barrel down there over the spring, and there are the sides of it, and he can't get out. He's lucky there's something to sit on in the water there, huh? Poor Grandfather Frog. Can everybody see it now a little bit better? Okay. I see some grass up at the top. Okay. Now let's see. If they had stopped to think, now we're talking about the Merry Little Breezes, right? They would have known that Grandfather Frog couldn't have climbed up by them anyway. Then they tried to lift a big stick into the spring, but it was too heavy for them, and they couldn't move it. However, they did manage to blow an old shingle in. This gave Grandfather Frog something to sit on, so that he began to feel a little bit better. That's what he's sitting on, a piece of shingle that the Merry Little Breezes blew in there for him. And he was glad to have it, I guess. Let's see, where was I? Then they said all the comforting things they could think of. They told him that no harm could come to him there unless Farmer Brown's boy should happen to see him. That's just what I'm afraid of, croaked Grandfather Frog. He's sure to see me if he comes for a drink, for there's no place for me to hide. Perhaps he won't come, said one of the little breezes, hopefully. If he does come, you can hide under the piece of shingle. Then he won't know you're here at all, said another. Now that's a good idea, I think, huh? Grandfather Frog brightened up. That's so, said he. That's a good idea, and I'll try it. Then one of the Merry Little Breezes promised to keep watch for Farmer Brown's boy. All the others started off on another hunt for someone to help Grandfather Frog out of this new trouble. Wow. And that's the end of that chapter, folks, okay? We'll read chapter 22 soon. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.